Hello everyone, Andrew here with Kimball Realtors, and today's topic is how to buy a home in a seller's market. Now, before I get started, if it's your first time here, thanks for stopping by. Make sure you subscribe. And if you've been here before, we appreciate you coming back. Please comment and like. It really helps us a lot with the YouTube algorithms, and that allows us to bring you more videos. If you comment what you want to see, anything real estate related, I'd be glad to talk to you about it. But what I want to talk to you today is, you keep hearing over and over, we're in a seller's market, seller's market, seller's market. So how can a home prospective buyer get a home in this seller's market? And that's what I want to talk to you today. I do have some advice though for both buyers and sellers, because I think it's very important that each side has a whole idea of what the whole thing is happening with everything, so the buyers and the sellers both can benefit from what I'm going to say here today. So the number one thing is, when you start looking for a home, is get yourself pre-approved, and get yourself pre-approved for more than what you think the ask price is going to be. So if you're looking at homes that are in the $200,000 range, be prepared to pay at least that amount. Most homes right now are getting over ask price. It always used to be you'd have some negotiating room in there, and the seller would put some negotiating room in there, and we'd go back and forth a little bit. But most homes now are getting ask or above that, at the ask price or getting above that ask price. So it's important when you're getting pre-approved, and get a pre-approval from your bank, not a pre-qual, but a pre-approval. And when you do that, make sure you get pre-approved for more than what you anticipate, because you could get into a bidding war and you could spend more than what that ask price was. So just so they're asking a certain price doesn't mean for sure that's the price they're going to take for that. So a big part of that too is, if you're a buyer, monitor your credit score. I've done a separate video, we'll put a link to it up here, on how the credit score will affect your mortgage rate. Not only will it affect your rate, but it will also affect if you're even able to get a home. If your credit score is too low, you're not even going to get approved for a mortgage. And then unfortunately, you're not even going to be out there looking for any homes at all, because you don't have a credit score that's going to qualify for getting a home. So keep that in mind. Get yourself pre-approved for more than the asking price, and keep an eye on your credit score. Very important that you know what your credit score is. Most credit card companies now, I know Chase, Discover, Capital One, most of them have almost a built-in credit monitor into your monthly statement. So you go online and look at your monthly statement. They might not be 100% accurate with what some of the other credit reports are going to be, but they're going to be pretty close. You're going to have a pretty good figure what that's going to be. Generally, you need about a 620 or more to be able to get a home mortgage, but the higher your credit score is, the lower your interest rate is going to be. And like I said, I talked about that completely in another video that you can take a look at. But keep that in mind. This is something that I want to tell buyers and sellers both, is when there's a lot of moving pieces when you're getting a home, and there could be multiple offers coming in, and get away from that multiple counter offer, because what happens then is people are paying, they get caught up in these bidding wars, and they pay more than they thought. I just read an article that said 30% of new home buyers are actually having buyer's regret because they paid more than they really were comfortable paying. And now they're in a situation where they paid more for a home than they probably should have. So when you're looking at a home, and same thing for the sellers when you're selling your home, make sure you're working with a competent real estate agent that knows that market, knows that area, knows the values of homes, know the resale values of homes, because it's very important that you know those. So if you're a buyer, make sure you've got that competent agent that can make sure you're not overpaying for a house. We see a lot where you're getting realtors and real estate agents that are coming from a different area, and they don't know this market, and they're not pricing things correctly. So make sure your agent is an expert in that market. For example, I tell people, I don't list things out of our area because I'm not an expert. I'm an expert within 30 miles of Wisconsin Dells. But after that, I don't know that market, and I don't feel like I can really give you great service in a market that I don't know. I want to make sure that you're not overpaying, or for your seller too, that you're not leaving money on the table. But what can happen from a seller's point of view, you should talk to, again, a competent agent that on day one can give you realistic expectations of what your home is going to sell for. And you need to agree upon a price, not only what the list price is, but the price that you want, that you're going to take for that home. Because a competent agent is going to know what that correct price is. If you have, and this is in the state of Wisconsin, if you have something called a multiple counter offer, say you have 2 or 3 offers all come in at the same time, and unfortunately some agents will get greedy and they'll send out this multiple counter offer and say, okay, give us your best offer. But what happens when that happens, it triggers in all offers now that are on the table are now basically null and void. So if you send out a multiple counter offer to 3 people and all 3 of them go, you know what, no, I'm not going to go higher than what I thought, what I put on my offer, then you can't go back and say, well, I'll take whatever that best offer was, because that offer's off the table now. They may have moved on to another home. As soon as they get the multiple counter offer, they're thinking, oh boy, here goes another bidding war, let's go on to another home instead. So keep that in mind when you're getting the offers. Make sure your agent is competent and he or she can go through whatever contingencies are on there, what the best offer is for you. And again, have that expectation of what you're going to sell the home for. Yeah, it's great if you get a few $1,000s more than what you were expecting to get for the home, but make sure you've got them realistic expectations from day one on the buyer side and on the seller side, so that you don't get caught up into losing out on a home or paying more for a home, or the same thing, losing out on offers that came in because you wanted to get more for it and you get caught up in that bidding war, because I know that's very common that it's happening right now. One of the things that your agent should also be able to do for you is explain what contingencies are in the offer. Now, what I'm going by again is the state of Wisconsin, so wherever you are, you're going to want to know what the contingencies are in your offer, both as a buyer and as a seller, and your real estate agent should be able to go over every one of those contingencies with you. If they can't, then you might not have a real competent agent. So, for example, in Wisconsin, we've got, if it's going to be based on financing, you've got the financing contingency, you're going to have a loan commitment letter date time, you're going to have the appraisal contingency, then you also have inspection contingencies, you have your radon test contingencies. If you're out in the country, you might have a well and septic contingency as well. So you want to make sure that your agent is going over every one of those contingencies and not just saying, well, let's send a clean offer in with no contingencies, because those contingencies really are there to protect, mostly in the offer, the contingencies are there to protect the buyer. With the financing contingency and at the date for the loan commitment letter, that's actually protecting the seller. So you want to talk to your agent and talk to them about which contingencies are protecting the buyer, which one's protecting the seller. Very important, and again, it goes back to choosing an agent that knows the market, is a competent agent. Hopefully, they've done quite a few transactions, so that's going to be better the more transactions they've done, because they have more experience. A lot of agents are getting into the market right now, and I'm not saying that they're not competent, but I just know, even myself personally, there's a lot of things I learned that being in the industry for almost a decade now, I know a lot more today than I did when I first started. So just keep that in mind. If you have some comments on it, comment down below, and if you want to contact me directly to talk about any of these, that's fine too. You can always email me. It's real simple, Andrew Kimball at KimballRealtors.com. And also remember, if you're buying or selling a home in the Wisconsin Dells area, Kimball Realtors will give you a free Kimball Realtors coffee mug. It is a limited time offer because there is a limited supply of these very desirable mugs. Hey, if you liked what you saw today, please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Also, like and comment down below. We appreciate it. And again, thanks for watching. Have a great day now.